The U.S. Supreme Court is expected to hear a case today on the regulation of ghost guns. The untraceable weapons assembled from kits are usually sold online and have been widely available with no restrictions, even to teenagers. Now, Supreme Court justices will consider whether the self-assembled guns can be subject to the same buying restrictions and registration requirements as traditional guns. ABC News senior Washington reporter Devin Dwyer joins me live now for more. Devin, what can we expect from court today?
Hey, a vigorous oral argument today, Diane, in the Supreme Court over the meaning of the word firearm. Federal law regulates firearms, but what about kits and gun parts that are sold without any restrictions? Do those count as firearms? The Biden administration says that they do, and 2 years ago passed a rule requiring manufacturers and sellers of gun kits, which you assemble at home, to conduct background checks to make sure the age requirement is met, to register the weapons. The gun makers, as you can imagine, dispute this. They say parts are not a functional firearm. They don't need to be subject to those regulations. And today, the justices will debate all of that in a very high-stakes case.
Now, Devin, Americans under 18 are prohibited under federal law from buying a gun, but they don't face barriers if they're buying one of these kits to assemble a gun at home. You spoke to someone whose teenage best friend accidentally shot him in the face with the ghost gun a few years ago. So what happened there, given this argument that these aren't really guns?
Yeah, you know, Guy Boyd, who is from Ann Arbor, Michigan, is sort of a case study in the danger of these homemade weapons for teenagers. For many years, you could buy these freely online. Guy Boyd, hanging out with some of his high school friends, found out the hard way when his then best friend pulled out one of these weapons, accidentally shot him in the face. And Boyd now says that he wants the Supreme Court to make sure they are treated like any other gun. Take a listen.
Ghost guns, it's in the name. It's a gun. It's a firearm. It's a projectile. It's something that can take somebody's life or almost take somebody's life in my scenario. But I mean, to me, it's just, I mean, it's common sense in my opinion.
And Guy Boyd there lost his right eye. I don't know if you could tell. He also suffers from seizures, mental health issues, Diane. So certainly a long impact of this. And authorities tell me that is one of the biggest concerns. Criminals getting these untraceable weapons, making them and using them in crimes for sure. But even more importantly, teenagers buying these online with their parents unaware, having accidents, hurting other people. And in Guy Boyd's case, the damage is very significant. So that family, one of the many watching this case very closely.
And Devin, according to the Justice Department data, ghost guns are also being recovered from crime scenes at high rates. In 2017, the ATF collected 1,600 guns without a serial number. 4 years later, in 2021, it was 19,000. So, big picture, what's at stake here, and what are the key arguments being made on both sides?
What's at stake, Diane, is just the phenomenon of a ghost gun, one that is untraceable, one that can be purchased freely, sort of a backdoor around the gun laws. The Biden administration wants to eliminate that phenomenon. They don't want to ban gun kits, but they want to just subject them to the regular rules. Authorities have told us, Diane, that the data shows since this rule went in place 2 years ago, they've actually started to see the use of ghost guns go down. They say it's working. But of course, gun manufacturers say they want to continue to sell these things. It's big business. And so there will be a lot of very textual arguments today over, again, the meaning of a firearm, what the law actually says, and whether Congress intended to regulate parts the same way that they do an actually functional firearm, Diane.
All right. Senior Washington reporter Devin Dwyer, thank you.